In this episode, we will talk about preparing for the end in the Philippines. It's true that once you come here, you may never go back to your home country. Maybe you've already decided this is where you'll end, and that's life. However, there are some things you can do to prepare better. To help us understand this, I will share a story of a Filipina woman who has a husband who is not doing so well. She says, "My husband is in really poor health. What should I do if something happens? I am a Filipina with an American husband. He have heart problems on medication, prostate problem on medication. He have PADS, pre-diabetic, like 6.2 HbA1c is 6.2. Things are not doing well. He applied for my spousal visa 2 years ago, and currently we are on NVC stage. This week, he was not eating very well. I work 8 to 12 hours a day as a nurse. I hired a caregiver to look after him while I work. I noticed that he cannot take in any food since yesterday. Been drinking a lot of water, juices, and milk. Yesterday, I made him soup. I did not add in the solid part. I only offered the soup, and he placed some crackers. He did well. Around 12 minutes last night, he asked for more food. I made grits. He ate some. His sugar last night was 65 mg/dl. Today, his vitals are stable and CBG at 108. He wets on himself already, so I do clean up after him. My question is, if he started to deteriorate more, what steps should I do? We have shared checking account, both money and both dollars and pesos. Not a lot there. I have access to his Wells Fargo account and email. I never faced this problem before. Do I need to contact U.S. Embassy as soon as possible, or what? I hope I'm making sense. Like, I'm so confused, stressed, and tired. I just want to be ready. I just want to know what the best for him. I do have, under my name, a policy from St. Peter, fully paid for more than 10 years. I'm not sure if I can use it. And please, no mean comments. I'm dealing with a lot already. Thanks." This woman is rare because most Filipina would not come on asking for help. They will simply either ignore the problem or make it worse, and eventually the person will pass away and they no longer have to worry about them. So this is the type of thing that shows at least the person has a heart, and I think the comments speak for themselves as there aren't any that are negative. But this is important for us to understand in case we are in similar situation, and maybe you can test your partner to see how much she is willing to do if you are ever to get sick or becoming very feeble. Individual Vast says, "Sorry, OP, you're going through this. First is make sure all his documents and accounts are in order. Password protect accounts, make sure you have it. If he has properties, hope you have at last will and testament just in case you need it. Talk to a lawyer to better secure yourself, and talk to immigration lawyer too. Get all of his affairs sorted out and in order. Prayers for you and your husband." Just Stressed Did It says, "On American bank accounts, you can add a payable on death called a POD. All the funds transfer to the person when you submit a death certificate to the bank. You will need an attorney to do this, as you need to go in person to the bank. Any other assets, let me know. I have college classes in this area of law." Yes, perhaps, but as you mentioned, she needs to be there in person. I am not familiar with these rules. I cannot confirm. However, something the person should definitely look into, for it may save her in the future. Triving Drew says, "Does he want to stay there or go home? If he is on Medicare in the U.S., his treatment might be cheaper, but the time to fly is now before his condition doesn't allow him to fly anymore. As you know, costs for serious medical care can get high. Perhaps get some money here in case of those big bills. I have similar health issues and split my time now between U.S. and the Pinas to manage it better. Get his identification papers in one place and find out if you have a local embassy contact where you are. They can facilitate matters if the worst happens. He's lucky to have you and keep us to date." Precisely. I believe she is lucky, or better yet, he is lucky to have her, although we are not sure how much longer. Frozen One says, I don't think the embassy is going to assist in this situation. It may even be fair to say he knew he had these chronic and potentially terminal medical issues and made a conscious choice to end his life in the Philippines rather than in the US. Had been in the US, or if we would get there now, he'd at some point qualify for medical and facility based skilled nursing care during his final days. Since he's here, my advice would be to look for a palliative care doctor and start getting advice and medications to make him comfortable. There are a few on nowserving.ph. I don't know your financial situation, but you'll most likely need a caregiver or nurse to assist you in managing his basic needs, as it's more or less impossible to do alone, especially if you are working. This is not going to be pleasant for you, and I don't think your green card will become permanent. Embarrassed Fixed says, does he have health insurance that's accepted by Filipino hospitals? My wife passed away at CMC in Laguna last year. I'm still fighting with our TRICARE insurance over the bill. In the meantime, our savings were depleted and credit cards maxed out. Her local family kept saying it was the best place to be, but she was terminal before her trip. She needed comfort hospice and not cancer treatment anymore. Several hospitals I found prior to her trip accepted and directed billed TRICARE, but they didn't listen to me. My MIL had a St. Peter policy as well, so that was covered for us. They transferred the policy from MIL to her daughter, my wife, seamlessly. I would speak with the embassy and an attorney. Where does he want to spend eternity? My wife was cremated there and brought back to the United States to be with me and the children. Many trips to City Hall to get the needed documents. We got like 20 copies of death certificates because, if needed, one in the US, I couldn't afford to return in person for another. I'm sorry you have to go through this. While the preparations are unpleasant, the combination of grief and aftermath are absolutely unbearable in my situation. As you can see, many people have given advice to this person. Unfortunately, this is part of life, and when you are in a different country, sometimes you forget that your life has moved and shifted from your home country to the current one. The Philippines does not make anything easy. My suggestion for you is to have everything in line. Be prepared, because you never know when the last day is going to come. You don't know what will happen to you when the time is for you to pass. My advice would be to not listen to anyone online or the internet. Do everything in person. Contact the proper authorities and facilities yourself. Have them send you things in writing, via email, something written, not just word of mouth. Everything needs to be documented so you can have it in case a problem arises in the future. This is our catfish of the day. How do you go from this to this? The best comment from yesterday is from Investices. For a foreigner in the Philippines, the general inconsistency and inefficiency are difficult to tolerate in the long term. There is no worse comment. Thanks for watching. God bless.